Genevieve. Yeah, that's better.
What are you trying better? What is that supposed to mean?
You look like she was. Well, you're pretty good looking too, Aaron. I'm sorry.
All right, we're recording. We should be ready to go here. My apologies for running a little bit late. I guess it's not too late. 3 minutes ain't bad for Aaron time. All right, can everybody see my slides? Probably not, huh?
No.
You see him now? Yep. Yahtzee. All right. There appear to be some loud people on the line, so if you're not me, there we go.
Thank you, John.
Damn it, John. All right, here we are. So sneaks and release meeting number 4. Some good stuff this time. I think we delayed this another week since our we had an extra week off. We didn't, but so Russia has a national holiday for first of the year, New Year's. That holiday extends a full week, so our sprints got thrown off a full week. So that's why our meetings are kind of all now pushed back, because we want to be able to present full sprints to you guys and not work that's midterm. So that's why the agenda or schedule changed. So thanks for adapting with us. So without further ado, we'll get started with Genevieve and Ignite releases.
Oh, okay.
Start talking.
Start talking.
Who says?
All right, the first one I want to show you, we talked about a little bit last time. We held off on releasing it before the end of January because we talked about the ability to delete, which if you guys are familiar with the page templates that we had previously, there was a delete functionality. I don't think anyone understood how it worked, but technically it meant that when we created a global template, a customer could go in there, delete it, and now nobody gets it. So we held off updating the view of it and the style changes because I thought that might attract a little bit more attention and a little more attention to the ability to delete. So this is all, as of this morning, I believe it is all live. And that was the scrolling templates, the kind of new styling that we talked about. The reasoning, again, we discussed last time, kind of getting it a little bit more user-friendly than that awkward drop down with a bunch of words option. If you want to...
Hold up, I just showed it to automation a few minutes ago. I think they liked it.
So this is the live view of it. Again, you have the option to upload how you want the preview to look like. And the global templates that you see up here, anyone who has admin level access can edit or delete those, but nobody else can. And when you create your own template, you can edit and delete, but after that, those are the only times. So you'll see some of these, Aaron doesn't have access.
It's a full click.
Okay. Gonna operate the Mac here. See some of these. If you have access to edit it, this is the view that's gonna pop up. You're gonna have that option to add an image there if there isn't one currently, or change the existing, to delete the template. And all you do is click this load button. It'll populate down below here. And again, just a few changes on this existing template builder, which really just gives you that option to share visibility, whether it's just you, your company, or DealerFire only, and then add those images.
So important if your teams have people with admin access, try not to delete templates because you could be deleting them for the entire universe of DealerFire customers and staff.
Mm-hmm.
You have a backup.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how many people actually have admin access. I don't know if it's support and above or if it's all content. I'm just imagining if a content person has 3 themes they stick with and like, oh, I'm going to get rid of the rest of these so I know which ones I always use. Well, that would not be ideal. So just so people know that's something you want to communicate. Done?
Yes. Next.
Gotcha.
All right, the next one is building onto the Ignite app. We've been talking about it's something we're trying to expand. Right now, we've released an analytics page, but keep in mind it's not all analytics metrics. It's analytics as in the features that we currently have on the app. So it gives analytics on the leads and inventory. And that is going live this week. It was supposed to go this morning. I'm not positive whether it's out there yet, but that is going to release Android and iOS at the same time. And here's just a couple of little previews of what that looks like. Again, just an overview, some quick metrics for inventory and lead counts to kind of see the health. And it gives you that option to change general date ranges. It's not meant to be an analytics replacement by any means. So Ignite is still going to have a lot more vast data, but it's just meant to be kind of a quick thing, especially for dealers as they're going to and from meetings to just kind of check health status. I click. All right. Next one, this one pertains to support. And this is the Crossfire DealerFire site ID section. Last review, we talked about the DealerSocket ID section where when we're setting up Crossfire, you plug in that DealerSocket ID, and then that essentially activates Crossfire on the DealerFire side. This field is different. It's going to appear below it. This is live. This is going to be the DealerFire site ID. This is automatically generated into that field, and users cannot edit or change that ID, but all it's intended to do is quickly generate that ID that support needs to share with the DealerSocket team in order for DealerSocket to set up Crossfire on their side. So it's just meant as a way so you guys don't have to dig around and try to find that it's all in that one spot. And that one is live.
That makes sense. So like to activate Crossfire, we need the DealerSocket site ID. They need our DealerFire site ID so we can create kind of a singular view of that customer and all of the customers. And so for this to happen, they need to actually give us their ID, and we need to give them ours. Well, our ID right now, to find it before we did this, is hidden in the URL only when we went to that dealership specific website info page. So we thought, hey, we should pull this out and make it a lot easier to find as opposed to having to look through the URL to find an ID. For those of you that are from analytics back in the day, you used to have to find the analytics ID by doing the same thing in Google Analytics. So anyway, so technically the site ID for this dealership, just so you know, is actually 1899. Within Crossfire, we add 1 million to that number. It's just the size of the number. The amount of digits needed to be 7. We add 1 million to the site ID, so that's why we specifically built that in, just so it'd be easier for support and anybody activating this to not have to guess on what it should be.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the exact process on setup, who that ID goes to or where you get the DealerSocket ID, that's kind of an operations side thing and something that Amber and Chase are currently working out. And I know Jason is helping work on some actual tech docs to help explain that whole process. But basically, once all of that's sorted out, this is where you're going to find those.
Hey, what happens when we get to 10 million customers, Aaron?
Well, the 10 million, that's going to be an issue, yeah.
That's
that.
Engine 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Team.
Hey, so a quick update on that, Aaron, on the Crossfire. Do we have any successes or anything like that we've published, or any case studies where we've linked them together in our pilots and seen some kind of cool interactions between the CRM and the website?
Nothing formal. So the downside to some of the Crossfire pilot period was that within that pilot, there was, as you know, there's 2 components to Crossfire. There's the matching based on web lead, which is really simple. And then there's the matching based on the email click. The email click actually hasn't been live until you guys did that. Remember how you held off for like almost the entire 4th quarter from doing updates on the DealerSocket side, from doing pushes to production?
Mm-hmm.
So that update on your side to enable the email click tracking was actually delayed until that went live. So we've only had email click tracking since the end of January. So we're a little off in our metrics because all we've been matching is the amount of web leads that have come out. So there's not a great amount of data that we've had that's been accurate. We're compiling. We only have about a week of live data. The bright side is the promise of the functionality itself has landed us probably 5 to 10 deals already, including we signed a couple at Digital Dealer on the floor because of Crossfire, and that's including Dealer Fire and DealerSocket. We have one of those customers bought both on the spot because of the Crossfire functionality. So we have some company wins. Genevieve is working with Steve Bozick and Danae to come up with some actual client side wins when we get some more data up and running.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for the update.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one that is also live is the Manager Specials Certified attribute. This is a request that came in from dealers and on behalf of support as a feature request, and it's basically they just wanted the ability to create a manager special for certified vehicles only. So it's a small checkbox. It'll appear only if you have under this type where it says group of vehicles or single vehicle. If you select group vehicles, that certified only checkbox will show up. The default is unchecked, but it kind of gives you that option. And that one is fully functional. Next one, this was a production request, and this is the second and third phone number fields. So under like the contact us, if you see in this example how now we can kind of populate in 2 phone numbers, it's been requested from dealers before. We didn't really have the capability to add those in neatly within Ignite, but we awkwardly had a builder field for it. So now we've connected all of that through, and there's a field in Ignite to add that second and third main phone number. And this is different from the department phone numbers. Those are separate, like you can see on this example, than the sales shows, and that's always been functional, but this was a specific request for a main phone number. They wanted to throw a fax number, something like that, in secondary phone numbers. That is going live with our launch this week.
How can you have multiple main phone numbers? Isn't that an oxymoron?
Is there labels for them so that you know the difference between the 920 and the 333? Like, is one a toll free or like you said, a fax? Is there labels?
I'm not sure. Is there another spot for fax? I feel like we already have a fax specific section, and it might just show somewhere else. So in the other attributes, like in sales, those all have labels. I'm just not. I guess if one of these is 800 and one's local, you just kind of get it. But that's a good point. You may want to consider how people are using it, and then consider the ability to put a label on it just in case if someone does throw a fax number there, you wouldn't want them calling a fax number.
Yes. Yep.
Is that second, third, fourth group? Is that in the Okay.
We'll have to. Genevieve can look in to make sure. See if that's a meta variable or not.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Essentially, all we did with this launch was add in the field within Ignite. This was already built out in Builder and was already in the coding. It just never
made it
to being able to fill anything in. So we just kind of closed that cycle, but there's certainly more that we can do with it now that it is a functioning circle. Another one is a request that we've got in from analytics and many dealers over the past couple of months has been the ability to report on specific vehicles or specific VINs. This is phase 1, so we are going to build out additional metrics and a full list view so they can export, for example, a list of all of their VINs along with page view traffic for a specific date range. But again, that's phase 2. This is the first installment is essentially just connecting that data to a VIN. And this is a new tab that has been added with those Google Analytic metrics. Analytics. It's a new word. So this is under in Ignite, inventory, and when you go to edit a specific vehicle, that's where this tab is going to show up. If I click this, will it just open?
Mm-hmm. Like hard click that thing. There you go. Do like you mean it.
So this is live. You're going to see at the end here, there's an activity tab. And again, just a few basic metrics to get us started. I have to get that fixed again.
Yeah, I know it's bugging me. Visually, it's really weighing on me.
So you have the VDP views. leads count, average visit duration for that page. We're working on getting some tooltips that'll explain these metrics so the analytics team and the account managers don't have to explain it to every dealer.
SRP page views, which is important too.
It's insane with SRP page views. Vehicles saved, that's if they have that functionality on their site, and then just a basic count. And this does have the ability to change the date range. And again, this is just phase 1. Phase 2, we're adding some quick view basic metrics into this side, and then that exportable separate report tab. Yes.
Are you going to do a widget for the home with this too? Are we gonna be displaying per website? So if they have, not only the portal site and then on their.
So from this view, because inventory is based on company and not website, this is a combined metric across all. The separate reporting tab will be broken down by website.
Okay.
So that'll be kind of the difference between the two. Essentially, there's not a clean way for us to break down the separate websites on this one. When we do add the reporting into this right tab, it'll list all of the websites that are being taken into account that this vehicle is showing up for, to kind of understand that this is we're adding, if it's on 3 sites, it's got 25, 25, and 50. We're adding those together, but the reports that we were talking about, how you could export to Excel, have a full list of all VINs. That one is going to be based on website and under the reports tab.
Okay. So there's gonna be no way to switch between websites in this.
Within this view,
Okay.
correct. That's all I got. Any other questions on those before I turn it over to Drew? Kevin?
Kevin.
All right, good job.
Nice job, Genevieve. The page template selector thing is really cool, and like Aaron said, we just used it on a demo this morning, and it just looks really slick. And it seems like everybody's asking to see, well, how do I build pages in Ignite? And so that's a really nice user interface to show off now. Nice job.
Kavsky, are you on the line?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
There we go. All right, so Engine 5 stuff. So the main reason why I'm presenting on this particular month is because basically beginning this week, I'm going to be taking over all Engine 5 Epsilon project management, specifically from Jero. He's going to be concentrating mainly on Engine 6 and digital retailing.
Yep.
So he'll be dedicated to that. I know a lot of you have already started sending me specific things. So if there's anything front end related for current platform, I'll be taking the lead on anything that's new. Jero will definitely be there to help out for any existing projects and anything that's assigned to current sprint or anything that's close to releasing. But moving forward, anything else that's new for Engine 5 can come straight to me. Okay, Aaron, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so first off, a couple recently viewed vehicles specifics. So this is our virtual garage enhancement. It shows not only the saved vehicles, if someone clicks the floppy disk icon on SRP or VDP, but we're also tracking specific VDP views per user. So it'll actually provide a little bit more of a personalized experience. So let's say you visit 10 vehicles in one site visit, and then you don't save any of them, but then you come back and say, I wish I knew which ones I had previously visited. This will show up to 15 that you visited previously. It's cookie based, so it will save as you come back as well. And then as you save them as you view them, in your recent tab, you can actually select your recently viewed vehicles to save. So it'll drop it between the 2 columns or the 2 tabs in the tray. Aaron, if you click on that labs link down there, we can actually show a live version of this. So if you just go ahead and save click into a VDP. So you'll see down at the bottom there's a nice little CSS animation that actually pops up, and then go ahead and save one as well. So the tray will actually split into 2 columns. There you go. So go ahead and click on that. So the tray will split into 2 tabs that'll show viewed and saved. And then as you save a vehicle from your viewed tab, a little text will drop in that says saved. That one's still finishing in process, but we figured it'd be good for people to know of their viewed vehicles what's actually been saved to their cart. So that's something that we're pretty close to releasing, I would say, during this sprint is when that's going. So we just had to finish up some final QA on it.
Is that saved feature been out on some sites for a while? Is it just an enhancement to that?
The saved feature itself, yeah, it's on every site that we launched. This viewed functionality is basically an enhancement of that.
How well does that saved functionality get utilized? Have we tracked kind of the utilization of it?
Genevieve and analytics, do we have a good number on this? How many people are saving vehicles? Where it's a component of the inventory analytics system that Genevieve just showed. I'm just not sure that we've seen, or that I have a fresh idea of percentage of vehicle views per saved, or even the volume of saved
We
functions.
see regular traffic across the sites that use it, but as far as percentages, I'm not sure it is something we're tracking as an event.
Yeah, so we specifically have an event on that function. We'll just have to do a little digging to figure out how popular it is. This exact update was recently part of the Audi RFP. They're specifically looking for the view and saved options. So we just happen to be building it at the same time, which is good. But so we I think we'll just have to do, it would be good to see some digging on volume of people actually using the saved function, which should be pretty easy to get.
And I would assume, I think it's a fair assumption that now that the viewed vehicles will be displayed automatically whenever you see a vehicle details page, that we're going to see way more interaction with that module, because people may not know to save, or they may not know what it does, so they're afraid to click it. But now that this happens automatically, they're going to see that little bouncing red square and say, ooh, look at that. And then they might save a few and compare them.
Yeah, I have a quick question for you. When you guys are updating these modules, are you having to do any work on the VDP itself to update that as well, or is this just module born?
This is just module based.
Okay.
So we're basically using the exact same tracking that we do with user profiles in Ignite, where we basically measure every VDP that's visited. It's just tied to a specific user visit to site.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
I asked because if you notice, scroll up on the top, the SEO URL keeps getting rewritten on responsive.dealerfire every time we do an update that involves the VDP. You can see that it doesn't say new used vehicle up there, and we've corrected this multiple times, but now for the last 3 months, we have not had newer use, so we have to circle back on every single site we launched and add that to the SEO URL. I just want to make sure going forward that anytime we do any updates to the VDP, that SEO URL is not disturbed.
Yeah, it's just a note for programming, Cav, on your team. Just make sure that they're aware that on the production side sites, I know this is the labs, but on production, that we shouldn't be changing any default SEO logic.
Sometimes it gets written from labs to the live. That's why I think it's happening.
Good note, Russ.
Awesome. We can bring that up in our grooming meeting tomorrow just to make sure that we keep an eye on that before release. Cool. All right, on to the next one, Aaron. So this is a continuation. This is more of a sneak than anything else. This is going into current sprint, but it will probably be at least one sprint. So in coordination with showing most recently viewed vehicles in the virtual garage tray, we also wanted to continue that experience on SRP and VDP photo overlays. The photos here are a little small, but the idea is that we put a little viewed badge on each vehicle listing, whether it's on SRP or VDP, that's been viewed previously. So again, a little bit more personalization of the website for the viewer or the user. Okay, this is one of the big ones for Q1 release. It's currently in testing. Technically, it's released, but we still have a couple things we're working on. So this is called incentive merchandising. The idea behind this is that we're utilizing an existing Ignite module called Special Offers. I think you guys probably have seen it in Ignite called Manage Offers. And that's that module, if you look up at the top right of the slide right now with the different Volkswagen offers, it shows a lease payment and a financing payment. So the idea is that we wanted to be able to dynamically create banners on qualifying inventory pages for these exact specials. So the mock-up you see at the bottom right-hand side that says 2016 Volkswagen Jetta, $299 lease, 0% finance, that's being dynamically created by the image and all of the lease and finance information housed in special offers. If you click on view details, I don't have a mock-up for this right now, but if you click on view details, an overlay will actually pop up and it'll show all of the disclaimers. It'll have a lead generation form. It'll have a click to call phone number. The exact same module basically we're utilizing in incentive merchandising is the same one that's currently existent in the special offers module. So the idea for this is especially using, OEM programs and, basically any OEM that offers some sort of incentives that we can actually use an existing feature to put those on inventory pages. So not only SRPs and VDPs, but showroom pages, model details pages, even custom landing pages. So it's an actual module that we can just attach to each qualifying piece of inventory, and then it'll just link out appropriately. So I should also,
Kevin, that data, all that incentive data is put in by hand manually by someone managing the inventory, right? We don't have.
Correct. So this is phase one, the ability just to be able to merchandise the incentives. Phase two, which we're actually working on with Volkswagen right now, is using the existing incentives feed that's sent to us and actually populating the data automatically. The only problem with that is we're having some issues normalizing the data. So Volkswagen sends us, basically incentives for every vehicle. Some of it is based on region, and some of it is, in different fields that they actually send through FTP. So we're working on that. Volkswagen's been really good with us trying to figure that out. But the idea is once we have kind of the model that we can use for Volkswagen on these OEM sites, hopefully we can expand that out. And it potentially might even give us something better to use that's on our own platform as opposed to like an AIS. So this will help us get through that. This is a big one that we've been working on, though, that'll definitely help out with all those different franchise dealers.
It looks super cool. I love it.
Awesome.
Operating
All right.
too, right? So right now, if we wanted to do this, Edsel's team they would get a request for Edsel's team to do a promotions banner. Then we'd have to go in by hand and put it in there. So not only is it cool because it's scalable from just getting the data standpoint, but it actually save us some time actually building, which we'd have to do this by hand and make it a graphic before. So that's nice.
All right. So Eric is going to talk a little bit about securing personal identifiable information.
Yeah, just some punctuation on the Engine 5 stuff here, following up on some things that came up in our last meeting. We had kind of a mad dash to fix some of these issues we were having with PII, personally identifiable information, social security numbers, birthdays, stuff like that. Oops, we were sending that PII to dealerships plainly in lead transmission. So sales reps were getting emails with people's social security numbers in them. Now, instead, we have secured said PII and we are sending them a link to Ignite so that when somebody sees that lead transmission, in order to access that PII, they have to click the link in Ignite, log in, have access to that information, and then they're able to view it.
So in that case, Eric, we're certainly not sending things over in plain text, for people to scrape and stuff like that, but we're still allowing access for the average salesperson to get social security information.
So long as they have an Ignite login with those permissions. So they will see a link and then they have to click that link to access Ignite. If they do not have a login to Ignite, they won't be able to see it. If they have a login to Ignite that doesn't have certain permissions, then they wouldn't be able to see it. So the idea is that we'll have a lot more control over who would be able to access that information, or the dealer would.
Yeah.
So there's two parts to that too. So there's a plain text, which was a huge no-no. There's just no reason to have it in plain text anywhere.
Right.
The ADF XML leads. So I think the only thing, even on the ADF XML, if we're not passing that information through a secured channel, then we're actually turned it off there too. So by default, if it's not a secure channel, we're sending this to like Higher Gear CRM through just a general ADF XML. we'll just send hashes instead, and they'll still have to get into Ignite to see it. Now, someone like Fex and AutoNation, we do have an HTTPS web service that we send it through, so we're able to, again, be able to send that data and create some efficiencies. It just needs to be through that, generally an API layer where we know we have some security, as opposed to being kind of open as we had done in the past.
How about that company called DealerSocket? Are you guys sending over a secured one to those guys?
Too small.
We're having trouble communicating with people on their end, like a lot of difficulties in just working together. So
we're not very technical. Yeah, so I think actually,
are you guys sending stuff over to us and that secured stuff?
I do believe we still are. I think that was the only other one that we're sending it. I'll have to triple check because that may have been turned off. I know the ones I specifically knew that we're going to keep running were Fex and AutoNation. I'll check on that right after the meeting.
And then, Aaron, the other thing you might think about, we're doing this on our side right now, is we're putting in some rules that will go in and remove social security numbers and in our case, like driver's license numbers. You probably wouldn't have that. Any other kind of sensitive PII after like 30 days. So
I was going to ask you what the time frame was on that. So Jeff McCurry and I were just debating about what the limitation is on that data and housing it. So you guys went 30 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the next logical step. So we're not just housing a ton of it in Ignite, because that's certainly a liability.
Yeah, it just opens us up to, and if we're consistent across all of our apps, I think that'd be helpful in terms of a general privacy policy if we did that. So maybe kind of put that in somewhere in a upcoming sprint somewhere.
Sure.
And the last couple of things before we go to the OEM specific stuff, following up on an issue that was brought up two meetings ago, where we made it so that if you're on a Dealer Fire website and you're entering a numerical field entry, that it would only show you a keypad. So mistakenly, I assigned all zip codes as numbers only. Unfortunately, I did not know that Canadian postal codes actually accept or use letters as well as numbers. So we, for a very brief time, were not allowing people to enter on a mobile device a valid Canadian zip code or postal code. We got that fixed. Thank you, Corey Mertz. Couple other releases. Got a service CLP for the content team. Hope you like it, Wes. A couple OEM CLPs that Kevin's going to show next. And we implemented some automated analytics for Toyota sites in the New England region that we have. So just wanted to keep you in the loop on some of those smaller releases.
Hey, Eric, what's a CLP for my benefit?
Oh, sorry. Custom landing page.
Oh, okay.
So, the content team, you're aware, makes a lot of those, and they have various templates that they use. And if they come up with one that they are sure they want to use a lot, then the programming team will create a template that they can go in and access and edit, just like Genevieve was showing earlier, so they don't have to rebuild it every time.
Okay, and then going over some OEM stuff from the last couple months. So VW after sales pages, I would say about 60 to 70% of everything that Volkswagen is doing right now is all after sales related. So specifically, all these different pages like competitive analysis and service events that are all powered by API. So we actually have to programmatically create these pages, assign values based on data that VW sends us, and then post them on each page's site, or each VW dealer's site, excuse me. So for instance, competitive advantage, if you look up at the top right screenshot, that's going to show all the services that Three Rivers Volkswagen has compared to all the other service dealers in the area. We get all that information basically just through that API service, and then we have to assign it accordingly. So the dealer actually has to opt in through API, and we won't create a page on their site unless they are opted in. Same thing with service events. All this information is sent to us from VW, and we dynamically create it into the service event page, and that's also assigned through enrollment to the VW sites. And this is all released. Okay, next
We
one.
have Cav, we have a question.
Do the other
Okay.
providers in the program do this?
What's that?
He's asking if other VW providers do this.
Yep, every VW provider is responsible for this. So this is all just general program information.
So the cool thing with why this is more of an update, because other providers, like we did in the past, they sent us this spreadsheet basically, or feed, said, hey, these dealers have this enabled. Then we had to have support go in and one by one say, this dealer needs this dealer needs this, a big drop off. So what was really cool about what Kevin got done here is now instead of having somebody manually do that, we're detecting that feed coming in saying, is it kind of Boolean, is it on or is it off? If it's on, then automatically build the page. So nobody has to go in one off and check it off and say build this or don't build this or turn it on, turn it off. If in that feed it's on, it's on. If it's in the feed it's off, all dynamic. It saves a lot of time.
Yep, and just for some context there too, VW has something like 12 after sales pages right now. If you think about like service credit card and tire store and parts and accessories and everything. And of all those, I think that, 8 or 9 of them are powered by API, and the rest of them we actually still have to do manually. So we're still kind of getting through that, and VW is doing a good job getting us that information. But it takes a long time to create these pages and figure out everything in the API to get it rolled out. So programming team did really well on this.
I think we have another question here, Kev, too.
Yep.
So, Kevin, this is Etzel. So are we able to, you should do something like that for Toyota Care page, the military rebate, the college rebate. Also when dealers have Toyota rental car or express maintenance pages. Is that something that we would set up a template in our end and implement it that way, or would it come from Toyota?
So in this particular case with Volkswagen sends us all the information because it's all tier 1 advertising for the most part, unless they have to do like market specific research, like competitive analysis, for instance. I could potentially see us doing something like that, which is, programmatically creating these pages and assigning them to websites. The only thing is that, and maybe Aaron and Genevieve could talk a little bit more about this, I think that we are in the middle of developing, whether it's for Engine 6 or Engine 5, a system that will actually assign content that's generated in one specific spot to multiple websites.
Okay. So we do want to solve for this problem across all OEMs. So in this particular instance, we're able to a little more cleanly because they send us that feed that we're able to use. So if Toyota sends us a feed and says, turn this on for this person and sends us the information we need to build it, we can certainly do that. It's just a matter of the accumulation or getting the data itself to both, is it on or is it off, and what's the data? So Shift is running Toyota as well, right? So I would fully imagine that this will start to roll out to all of our other OEMs, including Toyota.
Yeah, one thing that we've been noticing is that Volkswagen is very ahead of the game as it comes to like getting us content and making sure that APIs are set up and just doing a really good job of getting everybody on the same programming side of things, whereas the other programs are a little slow to it. So you'll probably see some alignment coming up in the next 6 months or so. Okay, more Volkswagen funness. So Aaron and Mark and Jesse have been working on Volkswagen Theme 2. So we currently have just the VW.DealerFire, which in most cases looks pretty similar across the board. We have done some customizations to that for different Volkswagen dealerships. So the idea here is before the end of Q1 to actually release a new theme in the Volkswagen program that dealers can choose from, and that we can probably do a little customizing on, although this is still in build, so we'll kind of see where that goes. But the idea here is a little bit more variety. It's something that no other vendor is doing right now. They only have, like if you look at dealer.com, they have one theme. eBiz Autos has one theme. DealerOn has one theme. So what we'd like to do is kind of have this, I guess, dual threat in terms of something that functions pretty similar, but looks a little bit different, so we give dealers a little bit more on the option side. And right now we have 157 dealers in the VW program, which is pretty good considering when we launched that program, we had 2. So we've taken quite a bit of market share, especially from CDK on that. So we're hoping that this will help out drive even more people away, or away from CDK and to us, I should say.
Yeah, we want to be proactive. So nobody even asked us to do this. We're just thinking, hey, let's be the first ones to step out there and do it. So we'll roll this out and we'll do a Kia. We've already designed the Kia. We're just going to start building, and then we'll keep all programmers. We'll be the only one, hopefully the first and most active in actually creating options when possible. Someone like Jag and Land Rover, we're not allowed to, but in the ones where we're able to, I think it'll be a cool, unique factor about us to actually provide options.
All right.
Wah, wah.
And then finally, rest in peace, Scion. So I'm sure everybody heard the fun news earlier this week that Scion will be officially disbanded and absorbed back into Toyota in August of this year. So it's kind of funny because if you ask anybody in support and in programming, especially like Jesse Klotz and Mark, who have done, 3 Scion templates at this point, we won't necessarily get to utilize those or any of the fun collateral that we've put together, like this Scion boost page. The weird part about it is that even though the program is ending in August, they still want us to support it through the end of the year. So they're going to hold us accountable for compliance and for required assets and everything else that's required with Scion. And they're looking at this as more of a transition period. So I don't have a whole lot of details just yet in terms of when Scion vehicles will be rebadged as Toyota and how we're going to handle that in inventory feeds. That's supposed to be coming here in the next month or 2. But Scion will be going away. The program will be going away, all probably by August, I would say. And that'll be kind of restructured into Toyota.
So I think we should go buy Scion TCs because they're discontinuing those. Don't put any miles on them, and then they'll be collector's items.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Q&A part. So anything you guys want to voice or have questions on? We've made some excellent progress on certain products and modules based on some of the feedback we've received in these meetings. So if you guys have any questions or suggestions, please.
What's up?
Is that Eric?
Yes, Drew.
Yeah, I just wanted to find out, Eric, about the global updates as far as to modules and things like that. I know we talked about it a couple weeks back.
The menu modules?
Yeah.
So for the most part, those are good or in progress. I think there was a couple issues with licensing for Chrome images. I'll have to send you an update offline here, but we do have some stories in progress for updating the menu modules globally so that you guys will not have to place images for certain models. The issue is just that Chrome doesn't have a lot of the images for some of these models. So we're trying to do a kind of a situation where we're building our own library, our DF data library that contains a mixture of our own images and Chrome images.
Okay. Is that something that would be applied also to vehicle lineups?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So hopefully we'll build out this DF data library to have all the images for all the vehicles, and that would apply to the lineup modules and the menu modules.
Okay.
On responsive 1 and 2.
Any other questions, concerns, ideas, market factors, dealer requests, blah, 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 we need to know? I think we do hopefully a pretty good job of staying in touch with you guys on a regular basis, but at these meetings, I do like the end to be interactive, and then we're working on a new format for a different type of meeting that's more based on getting input on what we should be working on and setting priorities. So that'll be rolling out here this quarter, probably towards the end of the quarter, where we'll have a separate meeting, probably a smaller meeting, but specifically to get you guys to kind of get beyond what we've released and more into what we're working on over the next 3 to 6 months and get your input on priorities and things that we might have missed the mark on or whatever. But for now, I think this is good when we get them out. So anything else?
Hey, Aaron, I forgot to mention one thing. Can you grab your email real quick? I just sent you a PDF.
I'm going to open my email in front of all these people.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
sure there's nothing to hide. It's just pictures of $2 bills.
Yeah.
So as Aaron, and you can stop sharing your screen if you want to pull that up if you are embarrassed of things in your inbox. So as Aaron pulls that up, we're trying to do a much better job of getting technical docs out as well. So over the last 2 weeks, myself and Eric and Genevieve have worked with Jason, who's done an awesome job trying to get everything together for any new releases that we put out. So you guys might have remembered this from the last Sneaks and Releases meeting that we had. This is similar to incentive merchandising, but it's actually a hyperlink on each individual piece of inventory. So on SRP and BDP, again, based on managed offers or special offers or whatever you want to call it. So lease info, financing info. And then as you scroll down, Aaron, this is currently live, by the way, on Jaguar.DealerFire and LandRover.DealerFire. But the idea is that when you create a special offer, it'll recognize what inventory is currently on site that qualifies for this. So it's just based on whatever's in stock, basically. And it'll actually drop a hyperlink underneath the SRP listing, as you see on Aaron's screen right there. And again, it's going to utilize the exact same special offers overlay. So it's going to have all the disclaimer, it's going to have the call to action, phone number, etc. And it'll also be on the vehicle description page as well. So this will dynamically pull in. So kind of phase one of that incentive merchandising, but more specific to each individual vehicle. This is something that dealer.com, almost the exact same thing that they do that a lot of our dealers have asked us for and that are looking for specific things. So as we get into that phase two of incentive merchandising, where we're hopefully pulling that information directly from the OEM, this will also be an automatic function as well.
And just to reiterate, there's one place where you enter these offers, and then you can configure these modules, whether it be the text offer on the VDP, the text offer on the SRP, the banner on the SRP, the banner on the VDP, the banner on the MLP. All of those stem from this same info in Ignite. So you enter it once, and then it can display a number of different places based on how you configure them. So hopefully that will make it very easy to take one offer and show it anywhere that that vehicle appears on the website.
And one more note there as well. So if you look at the special offers module and there's year, make, model, trim, so that's all based on current inventory in the dealer's inventory feed, right? So the only issue there is, let's say the dealer, doesn't have any LR4s in stock, but Land Rover has a really good national offer for the LR4. You can't necessarily enter that. So, because it's all based on the dealer's inventory. So what Genevieve and the Shark team are working on is actually using Chrome data to auto-populate those drop-downs for every possible year, make, model, trim combination. And then our system will still recognize whether or not they have that specific vehicle in stock and assign the incentive accordingly.
Anything else?
Yeah, I had a question on that VW API.
Mm-hmm.
You might have said that, but that's pulling directly from Volkswagen, and then how are they getting the service pricing for like your area? How's it determining that?
So that's actually a VW service that they offer. So I don't know, Kevin, if you actually know how they're getting this data. I'm guessing they paid a team a really low amount of money to go out and fetch this stuff, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, so Volkswagen has basically regional reps that are in the field, and part of their requirement is every quarter to look at the top 5 competitors and actually enter that information into VW's system so that it can be sent through the API. So it's actually manually tabulated on Volkswagen's side.
So we, again, have no ability right now to pick which categories or which competitors they have. We're just displaying the data that VW decides to compile and send.
And the two, you said there was a theme coming from Kia too by the end of Q1?
Yeah, I mean, we have it designed, or probably just some small things that we want to go through and change on it. And then I don't know if I'm guessing by the end of Q1 we'll have it built, I would assume, but if not, early Q2. we just have a lot of work. We're building FEX transition sites as well, which is we could have put this in the presentation, but we're building 3 new e-car list transition sites so that when they make the jump that we have some similar themes in case they want to stay close to what they have. So there's a lot. Jesse's actually got quite a few things in the hopper right now. Jaguar and Land Rover sent through some changes we have to make to their themes. We're doing the VW theme, the e-car list theme. What else are you working on? Well, Kia, yeah. So there's just quite a few themes running through that side of the department. So it's coming, moving, we're doing well, but just a lot to do.
When do you know when the license?
I'm not exactly. Well, I know the transition happens on March 1st. They start allowing it. So our themes, we've dedicated or committed to getting all 3 new themes done by the end of February. And so they said March 1st, they're ready to start pushing it. Sales hasn't communicated with me the pricing structure. I'm guessing they'll fall somewhere pretty close to the existing independent dealer pricing structure, but that's kind of outside of my knowledge at this point.
We're training that team next week.
Yep. Yeah, Peter, I had a meeting with Peter Ward and Susie and all those people that are involved with that side of the thing. So I'm sure they should be reaching out. You should reach out to them and just make sure they have all that information for you. Anything else? Everyone good?
Hey, Aaron, I've got some questions for you and the product team if you guys want to stay online for just a couple minutes when you're done.
Yeah, we'll let everybody go and then keep going. All right, we're good here. Thanks for coming to the meeting, everyone. Appreciate the input, the attention, and we'll see you next month. It's up to you. Doesn't matter.
Just talking about it because there's
Sure. Kevin, are you still on?
Yep, I'm still here.
All right, and then we have, I don't know, one person who I don't know who it is. B. Kehoe? I'm going to boot.
You might be able to, yeah, you might be able to boot.
Booted.
You can probably turn your recording off too.
Oh, is it one of those?
Oh.
Well, first of all, guys,